So this is going to be episode 3 of breaking down one of my Logic Pro productions. This is going to be for the song Home. It's an unreleased track. You would have heard it if you were following my album series on YouTube. These are one of the earlier songs that I had written, so it's always fun to look back on and see what I did then. I'm going to play through the whole song, then we'll just kind of go through each section and explain the different parts. For the most part, I didn't do a great deal of mixing, so the sections are going to be dry. They're probably going to be a bit muddy, just because this is more a canvas to arrange and paint my ideas. If you want the breakdown of the mixing side of things as well, please let me know. There you go. It's actually crazy looking back on this session. It's pretty raw in comparison to what the final outcome ended up being. So there's definitely a lot of details that are missing, but I think being able to share these raw session files would probably be just as more insightful for you guys. So I don't actually have any kind of editing on these vocals right now, any kind of plugins or anything. It's the complete raw recording.
Violence, a crossfire of words and silence. Chokes all concern, I'm trying to find a place to rest.
So it's quite nasally still, and without the editing, you're going to hear a lot more of those pronounced 400, 500, 600 hertz nasal sections. So I'll just play it so you can just see, just education purposes.
Smiling like we would, smiling like we're standing, smiling like we would.
That's a byproduct of my singing, but to work around that, I obviously would have to filter that out. So there's not really much I can share with the lead vocals themselves. We can go down to the electric guitars, which are the main parts of it. I wanted to start mono. Then when everything comes in, go out wide. I think I ended up panning a hard 100 either side by the end of it, so it was a lot more exaggerated. And that's what probably would have been the final outcome, as well as a bunch of editing and processing. All that was on this was just the Tone X amps. So the actual carving out and all that is done during that mixing phase, but the guitars are pretty simple. I tried to emphasize a lot more of the dead space and the dead notes and the strumming, the strumming, because that is what gives it the rhythm and the groove to help work in tandem to the drums. So if we now bring in the drums, speaking of drums, so this would have been recorded during the same session I recorded the previous song that I did a breakdown of. Pretty simple. I had 2 overhead mics, a kick drum mic, and I think a snare mic. I put a kick sample in as well as a snare sample in just to help beefing up the overall kit, because this is what it sounds like without the samples. Pretty good still, to be fair. Let me get rid of it. That's more like, yeah. So the kick sounds quite hollow. So I've got 3 kick samples underneath, all phase coherently checked. And when I bring them back, brings back that energy altogether.
Crossfire of words and silence. Chokes all concern, I'm trying to find a place to.
Let's look at the bass. Sounds a bit sharp. Oh well. So I follow the same process. I've got a bass sim and then a DI bass. So this time I'm using more of an Ampeg modulator. Modulator Ampeg simulator. Very clean, very bass heavy and dense. Gives a lot of thickness to the sound without adding too much drive or distortion, if anything. So that together, without the DI, still quite nice, to be honest. but I missed the articulation. So we now bring in the DI. And the DI is bringing some of that low end beef and articulation in. So we'll go through and go straight into the vocals. With the vocals, I did end up retracking some elements of the background harmonies because I wanted to add more doubles. This was something that across the board I lacked adding, and I think some of these songs missed having these vocal doubles earlier on to bring out some more of the vocals, as well as give it a bit of density and show a sense of progression as the harmony started to slowly layer in. So you hear the first set of vocals here on the first chorus.
Stop for a minute pretending, smiling like we were just friends. Couldn't hide your lies from your hazel eyes.
So now it's a single vocal. Then we bring the doubles back again.
Memories of how we met. What a way to see it was only me who called what we had home.
Let's build up the vocal harmony stack so you can kind of hear each of the sections. I always do 2 of each harmony line. So
Regrets, tissues and burning cigarettes. Your dress on the floor, can't pretend you were worth the pain. Vacant, your attention was always.
And then now for the second half of this verse, instead of adding this second layering underneath, I switched over to ooze.
Vacant, your attention was always taken. My patience was slowly breaking. Oh, what a fucking shame.
It's a bit of counterpoint to work against the harmonies, but in a complementary way. Let's have a look at the next set of harmonies.
People come and go and take part of your soul.
Yeah, it just fills it out and really kind of helps lead into the next chorus.
People come and go and take part of your soul. Stop for a minute pretending, smiling like we were just friends. Couldn't hide your lies from your hazel eyes.
Ooze again.
I wish I didn't know. Buried under false pretenses, memories of how we met. What a way to see it was only me who called what we had home.
So the ooze are kind of filling in the space between the harmony backups sit out, and then at the end of the ooze they all come back together. So fill in the space. Wish I didn't. In unison. Sweet. And then it does it again.
Buried under false pretenses, memories of how we met. What a way to see it was only me who called what we had.
As simple as a track can get, I've got 2 more sections really. I've got the keys and then the solo. So let's have a look at the keys that are doing a lot more of the mid-range, some articulation through the keys themselves, as well as adding transitional effects and filling out the space between the track. So this is a bit more of a ear candy kind of trick. I've got a echo panned Pan, I think, running flangering left to right, left to right, left to right with this counter melody. Just a descending line. Adds a sense of interest and progression. And back to chords. Keys are super simple, really. I think overall this song has like 4 main components, and it does what it does in a very quick, short period of time. It's about 2:30 of a song. Nothing too special outside of that, filling in the space. And then I've got my solo. So let's have a listen to this. So it's more like a call and response guitar at the back. And that's just coming out of a drive Fender Twin, or Fender Reverb Twin. And just got a lot of boost, gain, and drive to really cut through the mix. And so it's a lot more of your standard rock, alternative rock style of song, but the sounds definitely develop when I go through that mixing process. So if you want to see that mixing breakdown and go through more of the nuanced details and how I balanced everything, as well as like the mix bus and things like that, please let me know. You got to have a look at the main meat and potatoes of the actual arrangement and the recording elements, and they all sound raw, but you can still get a pretty good picture of what the final product will sound like. And it shows how important it is to get the recordings, get the arrangement and the song right first from the get-go, and then everything else can kind of follow after. Feel free to check out the extended version on Substack. And if you're on Substack already, thanks for all the support, and hope you find some kind of information and something that you can take away and implement into your own recordings if you are out there trying to write your own music. It's not easy. You have to start and you have to just keep making mistakes and learning from them. So don't give up.